Good afternoon. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching Truth Matters. You can find us on television channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I'm here to talk to you about sleep. Yeah, sleep. Like getting a real, you ever just laid in the bed and you're just like, I'm tired. I have worked hard all day. I've been running after kids. I've been hard at work, just trying to meet that deadline, all those kinds of things. Or I've been working on the farm, which is part of our deal, and I still can't sleep. What is the deal about that? I found an article, and I really love this website, realsimple.com. It's called realsimple.com. So they're giving you 8 likely reasons why you can't sleep even though you're tired. So let's go ahead and get started with these. But first, let's talk about if you're deprived from sleep, this can be a common health issue. So this is why we're doing this. So you're far from alone when it comes to health issues, okay? So sleep, if you can't get enough sleep, that's more common than you'd think. In fact, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention has reported that an astounding 1 in 3 American adults don't get enough sleep. So the National Sleep Foundation shares that up to 30% of adults actually sleep from insomnia. For something that we need to do every night, or for about 1/3 of our lives, adequate sleep can be surprisingly difficult to come by. It seems like something that should be so natural to do, and yet sometimes subtle triggers can end up keeping you awake at night. Now, I do really good at sleeping all night long. I do. But I'm just going to tell you, when an idea comes into my head, I have to get up. And I've got to go write it down. Otherwise, it just kind of slips off of my head. So why getting enough sleep is so important. So let's talk about this. It's one of the healthiest things that we can do. Absolutely. And also, sleep is life, according to Laura Lindley. Now, she's president of clinical sleep educator at Arizona's Valley Sleep Center. So this is what she says. It's the only time our body cells regenerate. Rest is healing and necessary to have a healthy body, mind, and spirit. There are also real consequences, both physical and mental, if not getting enough sleep. She says that doing without sleep, has become a public health issue for the simple fact that when you deprive your body of the benefits of sleep, it can impact your mental and physical health in more ways than one. I truly believe that. Remember one time I had to take a business trip, and so the flight was late. It was a weather issue. Something was going on to Houston Airport, and so we were stuck there. I had a meeting like that next morning, like bright and early. I didn't get to my hotel room and only had about an hour to shower up from not being able to sleep in an airport. Now I couldn't do it, but I had to hurry up and get ready, get myself ready. I took the coldest shower possible to wake me up. I think the meeting could have went just a little bit smoother had I had more sleep. But no point in offering excuses. I mean, no, you just have to take it like it is and run with it. So stress, exhaustion, and doing without sleep, can form a deadly cocktail. Combined, it can lead to mental health conditions like depression and anxiety. Your health could plummet, and your immune system could take a huge hit. And if you risk potential for chronic health conditions such as hypertension, maybe type 2 diabetes, and heart disease, that can really go up substantially. Regardless of how busy you are, you simply cannot afford to ignore the need for quality sleep. So if this sounds like I'm your mama and I'm getting on you, I am your mama and I am getting on you. Okay, you got to get sleep. This is extremely important. Okay, so let's go through these common reasons. Number 1, you're stressed out. I agree with that. So while a good night's sleep can feel amazing after a long, stressful day at work, that stress can also become the very thing that gets in the way of quality sleep. In fact, Leadley, we just mentioned who was over this product, says that one of the most common culprits for sleeplessness is stress. So if you find you're tossing and turning, even when every bone and muscle in your body is screaming for sleep, it could be because your mind is just not ready to turn off. Maybe something happened. You're worried about something. You think you're going to lose your job. You got a big contract coming in. You don't know how to handle it. Your brain could be stuck in a vicious loop of deadlines, meetings, and memos as you try to get some shut-eye. So it could be work pressure, or really any stress in a person's life. Could be a bad marriage, bad relationship. The spillover effect of this stress leaves people wide open and unable to get a good night's rest. Unfortunately, those racing thoughts that lead to the inability to fall asleep can eventually turn into long-term insomnia. So you need to get a nip on it, okay? So if something happening, we're going to tell you how to do it. But you don't have to be stuck in this loop forever. To combat it, it is recommended unwinding before bed with de-stressing activities. Okay, set aside some time before getting into bed to indulge in activities which help you to de-stress. So this is a biggie right here, okay? You get in late and you've eat a full supper very late at night. You're probably not going to get any sleep. Avoid eating and drinking stimulants like sweets and caffeine. De-stress by praying or meditating, engaging in some deep breathing exercises, take a warm bath, listen to calming music, anything that helps you to relax. Turn the news off. Don't watch the news. If you've had a rough day, that's my number one recommendation. End it with something really nice. Good soothing music will do it every time. Okay, number 2. You've been spending too much time with your screens. I'm guilty of that. Dr. May explains that all electronic devices emit light and make noises that can be disruptive, and the constant brain stimulation can make it difficult to unwind before bed. These devices, simply put, can disrupt the body's natural sleep rhythm by acting as a distraction and even as a false signal for wakefulness. If you want to feel calmer before bed and avoid that light and noise, Dr. May recommends not using electronic devices in bed or right before going to sleep. Unplug and just disconnect is the best thing right there. Okay, number 3, you don't have a consistent bedtime routine. That can be an issue. Most certainly can. It's common sense. So you scramble through your evening, but you end up crawling into bed at an ungodly hour, and you spend some extra time scrolling through Instagram, Facebook, whatever, to slow your mind down, but you still can't sleep. A lot of Americans seem to fall in this sleepless pattern. This is a trap, but undoing it might require you to think back to your childhood days when you had a specific bedtime preceded by a bedtime routine. Remember that? You had school the next day. What time did you have to go to bed at night? Had to have all your homework and all those kinds of things done. Then you go to bed. So now that you're all grown up, a set bedtime can still prove to be beneficial. Okay, so it's important to schedule your bedtime, adding that one of the best ways of improving your sleep quality is to establish a fixed bedtime routine. Now, Dr. May also says that keeping a set sleep schedule is essential. Like any new habit, it'll take a while to make yourself go to bed by a certain time, so set a reminder on your phone. Phil has done that. So set an alarm to go off an hour or 2 before bed as you signal that it's time to wind down. That's an awesome thought. Have a consistent bedtime routine and go to bed when you're sleepy. So regardless of when you go to bed, wake up at a consistent time, 7 days a week. Yeah, that includes weekends. Absolutely. Number 4, maybe you drink too much. Maybe you've had too many cocktails. So does that post-work happy hour? Don't do that. We need you around, okay? Could leave you tossing and turning all night long. There's a reason for it. So having a drink before bed can be linked to more slow wave sleep patterns called delta activity. This is what Lidley says. This is the deep sleep that allows for memory formation and learning. However, with alcohol in your system, alpha activity is also on. So usually alpha activity doesn't happen during sleep, but when you're resting. So when both activities are happening simultaneously, restoration sleep is inhibited. And it makes sense. You got 2 things going on in your head, okay? One's pro, one's down. One's up, one down. That's why. So in other words, those libations before bedtime can cause your body to do way too much all at once, which isn't exactly a great state to be in as you try to get some rest. Lindley also says that although drinking might initially make you feel sleepy and help you fall asleep more quickly, this ultimately interrupts your rhythm, which can wake you up in the middle of the night. Alcohol can also aggravate breathing problems and increase nighttime bathroom trips. Nobody likes that. So what's the bottom line here? Don't overdo it with those evening drinks so that you can get some high quality sleep. Absolutely. Now it's time to go. Okay, I can go ahead and do this one. Maybe your bedroom isn't optimized for sleep. So let's talk about that. So between the street lamp shining in your window, the TV is on in the background, and a temperature would rival a summer day, you probably won't get to sleep anytime soon. That would be a textbook description of poor sleeping environment. I remember when our air conditioning went out, and it was in the summertime, and we had a 2-story house. We were living in Charlotte, North Carolina. And of course, it was the hottest time of the year. And Charlotte had this heat wave that just would not stop. I mean, it was just ongoing. And of course, that's when the air went out. So we could not sleep upstairs. It was just way too hot. So what we did is we brought a mattress downstairs and we slept in the den. And that helped a little bit. But if it's too hot, too cold, that's going to work with the natural rhythm of your sleeping. So if the sleeping environment is, again, too hot, cold, noisy, or bright, understandably, your sleep is going to be impacted. So here's the ideal. Make your bedroom cool and quiet. Okay? So the Sleep Foundation recommends setting your thermostat between 60 and 67, which is the ideal range for sleep. I like having a bunch of covers on the pillow, on the bed anyway. And I just sleep better. I feel like a little baby in there. Ambient noise and light exposure are two other environmental factors that really impact the quality of your sleep. So buy blackout shades if you need to do that. Shut off the TV and consider getting a noise machine to drown out street noises, sleeping partners, and other disruptive stimuli. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go into a commercial break. We're going to be right back in just a minute. Y'all hang in there, okay?
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors, and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018.
Are you ready?
We all wonder what tomorrow will bring, but the future lays itself at the feet of the prepared and surrenders to the will of the persistent. It's not easy, but today shapes you so you can shape tomorrow. With Northeast Alabama Community College, when the future asks if you're ready, you can answer.
Yes.
Begin your future at Northeast Alabama Community College.
The only place I buy my beef is Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama. Their cattle is born and raised on their ranch, grass and grain fed, and you can feel confident when you serve your family and friends because their beef is all natural and no antibiotics or hormones are added. You can buy whole beef or perhaps go in with family or friends and buy half. Their customer service is number one as they take care of the delivery to their local processor and can deliver to your home for a small added fee. They also offer herd replacement heifers. I always call Lone Tree Ranch in Collinsville, Alabama for my beef specialty recipes and cookouts, and you can too. Food shortages are increasing, so buy local by calling 256-523-6462. That's 256-523-6462.
Donna's Designs offers a line of handmade memorial, wedding, and keepsake jewelry that launched back in 1970. I'm a self-trained jewelry designer, and I will work closely with you to create unique designs you can love and treasure for years to come. Whether that be flowers that were used in a funeral arrangement or stones you found on the beach at a memorable trip, call me at 256-659-4319, and let's think of the possibilities.
At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant.
Good afternoon. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, Truth Matters. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge every day, Monday through Friday, beginning at 1 p.m. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, you can find us several different ways. IACradio.media is one way, and that's on the radio. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. That's just another way you can find us. But thank you so much for watching any way that you can. We definitely appreciate that. We're talking about sleep. Everybody got to have some sleep. I mean, that's just you got to have it so you can think more clearly and you can run your life a lot better. You can make better decisions if you've had some sleep. So let's talk about some of these. Okay, number one was you're stressed out. We talked about that. And you can find all of these on realsimple.com. That's realsimple.com. You're stressed out is number one. Number two, you've been spending too much time with your screens. You got that computer screen right there. There's my iPad. I'm looking at the telephone. I'm looking at my cell phone, and I'm also looking at my computer screen. That's just way too much, and those lights really do affect us and our well-being. Number three, you don't have a consistent bedtime routine. That's the truth. How many of you go to, like, one night you may go to sleep at 10 o'clock. Another night you're going to go to bed at 2 o'clock. That's not good for you. Set a pattern. Your body is kind of like, it likes to work with a rhythm. I know mine does. Like if I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking something and somebody comes into the kitchen while I'm cooking, it kind of stops me. It disrupts me. So I don't know if it's just left-handed people who are this way or not, but I am left-handed. But it messes up the rhythm in your body, so you don't want to do that. So have a consistent bedtime routine. Number four, don't drink, first of all. Just don't go there. But if you've had too many, it may put you to sleep at first, but then your body kind of gets immune to it. You know, how many people have you seen that take a lot of aspirin every single day? You know, they have a headache or whatever, and they take aspirin. And it really helps at the first part, but then your body gets so used to it that the aspirins don't stop the headaches anymore. So there's a deeper meaning. There's the other things we need to do. Number 5, maybe your bedroom isn't optimized for sleep. You might have to find another room in the house. If you're living in, maybe the street light glows right into your bedroom window, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of sleep. Good way, just get some of those blackout curtains do work. I know when Brad was going to college, and he's right where the dorm was, there was a street light that was shining right in. And I said, son, are you getting any sleep? Because he's living out of state at the time. So he comes back home for the weekend. He looked like he hadn't had any sleep. And he said, Mom, he said, right where the dorm is, right where the window is, there is a night light that's constantly on. So we went and got some blackout curtains. That did it. That handled it. So he was able to get some sleep. But especially if you're going to college now, you got to get some sleep. Let's talk about number 6. You still have caffeine in your system. This is my biggie right here, okay? So caffeine can make one jittery, especially if consumed too close to bedtime, Dr. May notes. But even if it's late morning or early afternoon, that second or third cup of coffee could come back to haunt you at bedtime. Didn't know this. Caffeine can stay in your system for several hours. So the later in the day you have that espresso, that green tea, the soda, or even chocolate. Most folks just think coffee. No, let's go over this list again. Okay, so caffeine will stay in your list for several hours. They're in your system. So the later in the day you have that espresso, green tea, soda, or even chocolate, the more it could impact your sleep. So a cup or 2 of coffee when you first wake up is okay, but as the day goes on, caffeine can make it impossible to achieve a good night's sleep. Okay, number 7, you keep eating huge meals before bed. That's a bad thing. Or maybe it's something like really hot and something really spicy. It's probably going to keep you up. So Dr. May says that eating a large meal right before bed can be disruptive. I agree. As your stomach begins to digest your food, it can also increase the act for acid reflux or heartburn. So instead, eat dinner earlier if you can, but even if it's late night, think lighter and stop before you're really full. So this is what we do. If we've had a long day and we're going to be eating late at night, I usually opt for a bowl of cereal or something like that. Cornbread and milk is really good too. So anything like that that's going to help you out. Number 8, you have sleep apnea. Whether you've been diagnosed or not, sleep apnea experienced in 13% of men and 6% of women, as one study notes, is a serious sleep disruption. Sleep apnea is an obstruction of the airway which causes snoring and can prevent a person from getting enough oxygen. Now, if your body isn't getting enough oxygen, it'll wake you up to get breathing properly again. There's your body working for you, okay? All those disruptions add up to a low quality sleep. So untreated sleep apnea, which causes frequent and repeated periods of breathing stoppages, causes poor sleep quality and results in fatigue and headaches the next day, Dr. May says. So see a doctor to get tested and treated for sleep apnea. Now let's talk about, I think we've got time to do this. 11 healthy habits that can help you sleep better. So let's go ahead and start these. And these are some really good ones. Everything is a habit. I mean, it just is. Thinking positive is a habit, just like thinking negative is a habit. Planning on things is a habit. Not planning on things is a habit. So try to get yourself into a habit. Stick to a consistent sleep-wake schedule. This kind of steps back a little bit more info about what we talked about in the first part of the segment. So we all have busy lives. Got to get up, go to bed every single day of our life. So again, keeping a consistent bedtime and wake-up schedule is the number 1 recommendation. And it depends also, it's a self-regulation, and it's a major solution for how to sleep. Now, if your sleep schedule is currently all over the place, and some people do, I know people who work different shifts, people who work maybe, at a company where, they're kind of like guards, they're out there in the little guard shack. Sometimes they go in at different shifts. Folks who work in the manufacturing business a lot of times go in at different shifts. Like 2 weeks they may be, or if you're fireman, 2 weeks you may be, working second shift. Another week you're going to work first. Another time it may be third. I mean, you never know what it's going to be. So this is what they say about this. So if your sleep schedule is currently all over the place, the best way to start working toward a consistent and healthy pattern is to wake up at the same time every single day. Even if you need to find that consistent time, because if you're on and off, I work first, then I work second, then I work third shift, you've got to find a time that's going to be really consistent, and your body will adjust to it. So your body will gradually start to adjust itself and follow suit to get sleepy at the same time every single night. Get enough daily sunlight exposure. We don't think about that. So there's a book that was written, Why We Sleep, Unlocking the Power of Sleep and Dreams. So professor and director of UC Berkeley Sleep Lab, Matthew Walker, explains that daylight is key to regulating daily sleep patterns. He urges everyone to go outside for at least 30 minutes for their daily fix of natural light. So sleep experts recommend that. And if you have trouble falling asleep, you should get an hour of exposure to morning sunlight and turn down the lights before bedtime. Walker also writes, installing blackout curtains, which we talked about Brad getting, will also help keep your sleep space perfectly dark for optimum sleep conditions. Yeah, you know what gets me every year is when I think it needs to be outlawed, and that's when the time has to change. We fall back and then go forward in we lose and we gain an hour. I think it's total nonsense. I would like for this to get rid of that, because every year, even though it's only 1 hour, it always disrupts my sleep pattern for a little while. Unplug before bed. I bet we know what they're going to talk about that. Okay, so to ensure deeper sleep and fewer racing thoughts after lights, you need to power off phones, TVs, computers, and tablets at least an hour before bedtime. Good idea. The blue light actually stimulates the brain. It keeps you alert. That's why he tells people to shut their screens down early. What Phil does, we use use his phone for an alarm clock. So what he does is he gets the phone and he turns it upside down. Okay, so that light's not going to be shining. And he also turns the power down, the volume down just a bit as well. And that helps us to sleep. Okay, beyond the blue light dilemma, which is still up for debate by many experts, digital gadgets are just simply too stimulating. You're always going to get, especially if you have news alerts that are coming in on your phone. Yeah, this is kind of a hard thing, because every time that little bite goes off, it's like, oh boy, what bad news is there now? So just turn it off. And you don't need all that stuff running your life anyway. Exercise daily, but not too close to bedtime. You know that working out is good for your overall health, but it can also improve your sleep quality, especially if you work out in the morning, or at least earlier in the day. So evening workouts are definitely okay too, but they should occur 2 to 4 hours before bedtime to give your body time to cool down before you go to sleep. He also recommends 20 to 30 minutes of cardio exercise a day to promote better sleep at night, and also insists that you have napping after 3 p.m. I can't have napping after 3 p.m. I'm too busy recording shows. But thank you so much for watching. My name is Donna, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show, where truth matters. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget thenewscasters.com. That's our new podcast. We appreciate that as well. You take care. See you next time around.